Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, joined with Hubcap.
Hubby?
Oh, Phoenix said that. And
rusty.
today,
You're
I know,
rusty.
I know, it's been a long while since we were public. I missed everybody. Excuse me. Oh, hopefully everything sounds okay. So today this month, for the month of August, we are working on Layla, our Bull Mastiff, and we're going to start with the eyes, and this is for the Trekell Pet Portrait Competition this year. Luckily, the boards aren't big. I ended up having to go up and down versus this way in order to get Layla's face a little bit bigger. And we are also working with some very prominent grain. I could have sent it back to the company and requested a new panel,
Roxy.
but one, that would take time,
Stop looking.
and two, there's no guarantee I would have gotten any better panel because when they put their sticker over the board, you can't see what it looks like. So we're just going to deal with that because in most cases, you're not always going to have control of the board. Alright, so I am going to start off with the extra small Optima 18 spear shader.
Somebody's here, but nobody's chatting yet.
If you're here, say hi in the chat. Anyway, I'm going to start at 2.5. This pin, because of the size of it, it does carry heat differently, which I like. I can go at a lower temperature setting and still get a dark burn. I did notice in transferring the pattern that there were a couple lines I just need to erase just a little bit and we will be okay. I had to use a different reference for Layla's eyes. If you look over here, they're kind of hard to see. I couldn't get a better photo, but I did want this view. One, this is a dog who sincerely needs braces.
Kathy's here.
Hey, Kathy. She needs braces bad because her teeth are really all funky. Love you, Layla. And she's also going to be 11 at the end of September. So I wanted to make sure I got a good piece for her. So we're going to get started on the eyes.
I have a question before you get started, and I hope I'm not out of line. Why does the reference look different than the pattern?
Does it look different?
Well, I was looking at the
Did I grab the wrong photo?
I was looking at the space between her jowl and the side of her face here. And then I was looking at your pattern, and the pattern has...
You're right. It's the wrong reference photo.
Okay. I just didn't want you to get started using a reference for the...
And let me see.
For the pattern that wasn't correct.
No, you're correct. Let me see if I can get the correct reference.
This is because generally I am no help at all other times. So,
let me see if I can get the right one because we need it. Let's see. That is weird that I didn't get it right. I thought I grabbed the right pattern, but obviously I didn't. So I will quickly, in theory...
It's okay that now we're showing how you adjust on the fly. If you need to.
Is this the right photo? No, that's not the right photo either. I took several photos of her. And that's why... Is this the right one? Because he's turned a little bit.
That looks better. Yeah, that looks right. Yes, I believe that is the correct one.
Let me see how quick I can fix this. I am so sorry.
It's okay. We're just happy to be here.
See, I thought I grabbed the right one.
While you're doing that, let me tell them what's going on. So the studio might look different. Looks bigger to me.
Well, I'm not done, but yeah.
Valarie is repainting her studio.
Redoing the whole thing.
Well, redoing it and repainting, and She is about halfway done with the painting, and I know that you have some work to do on the counters and things like that. And she's doing these things. It's not me. You know, I helping a little bit here and there, but it's mainly with like moving stuff. So, but you've done most of it.
Yes.
So,
yes, I have. Is that the right one?
Burl is here.
Hey, Burl. Is that the right picture?
I'm looking. Looks correct. Yes.
So sorry about this, guys.
Okay. And I was on Instagram and I saw Burl won 3rd place, so congratulations, Burl. And something to do with swirl soap, which looked very cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, and then she got a sponsor of some kind, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. Buckleberry, something berry. Correct me, Burl, if I'm wrong, and I know that I am.
He will.
So, but yeah, so she got a sponsor for something that she's doing. So I think that's pretty cool. Roxy.
Sorry about this, guys. I did not.
No, don't eat that. That's bad.
Work on this piece on the computer. So that is part of the problem.
That is garbage and it's got paint on it, kid. You don't chew that.
Shoot, that took her ear off.
Now get out of the trash. Roxy.
I will get there, I promise.
Sponsor prize. Oh, okay. Cool. Andrea's here.
Hey, Andrea.
So, cool. We got Kathy, Burl, and Andrea here. That is awesome.
Alright. I'm going to very quickly download this photo so I can switch it over to you guys, and I'm going to have to use... No.
They heard a dog.
Alright, I'll be able to put this up quicker now.
Okay.
Pop up, pop up, pop up. Oh, wait a minute. I over here for it to pop up. I was on the wrong screen. Unfortunately, this won't have the background removed yet because I just pulled it from my phone.
But it'll do.
It'll do.
Oh.
Done.
Oh man, the smell of this coffee. It brings me back.
Because they make good coffee.
Yeah, you do.
Alright, there we go. This is the reference photo. Correct. I will have to go through using my phone, which is fine. So that's what we're going to do. Alright. So right here, she had some eye boogie. I did not include that because I didn't think it doesn't do anything for her.
No.
So there's no eye boogie in the reference or in the pattern.
Sheila's here. She says
Hey,
she's
Sheila.
watching from the start, but her phone won't allow her to comment, so she had to switch onto her tablet. Instead, hope everyone is keeping well. We are keeping well.
We are. Finally getting rain.
Spence is here.
Hey,
as
Spence.
well. It's so good to have everybody here. Thank you guys for showing up.
Alrighty, so I'm at 2.5.
Wanda's here too. This is like
Hey,
a
Wanda.
reunion. A big toasty reunion.
Well, these are the super toasties.
I know.
Alright, so we can see she's got shadow over her eye. I actually had to use a different reference photo so that I could see the eye better.
Wait. She has shadow over her eye. Would you say that she has eyeshadow?
Yes, I would say she has eyeshadow.
I'm back!
You're back. You're back. So I'm going to drag, get her pupil included.
Hi, baby. How are you doing?
There we go. Put in more shadow for this pupil.
Been a couple weeks for the doggies.
It has. Alright. I actually created an eye shine. There's not one in this reference, which is totally fine. But I wanted to make sure it looked glossy.
Doggy.
Look at that. We can see her eye. I'm going to drop down a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't make me too short. Here. There we go. Whew, bright light. Bright light in my eye.
Love the cute teeth.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he needs braces, doggy braces. But it is part of her charm.
Yeah, she normally has, like, you can't really see it in this reference, but she normally has like one lower fang that kind of sticks out, and she kind of looks like an orc from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you can't really see it here. Those crisscross, and I think this one right here actually is the fang that sticks out.
Yeah.
Oops, helps if I hear you. But because of this position, you can't see it like that. I probably will put a little bit more emphasis on it, just because that is our Layla.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm dragging. I'm just using the tip right now. And this is the darkest part. Now, she doesn't have light eyes. She has dark brown eyes. But, as you can see, there is going to be some lightness towards the bottom just from the light. So I want to make sure that is included. And then she's got fabulous eyeliner.
She is a very cuddly dog and a silly dog.
Yes, she is.
What I like about her eye coloring, the fur around her eyes, is that they're like diamonds. So she has kind of a very angular looking coloring around her eyes. It looks like a mask.
Oh, you're talking about... Okay. So this is a little darker underneath. It's a shadow.
Wanda says at least she has teeth. Her Havanese has lost several of his teeth. He
Aww.
chooses to further luck. Spence says, I don't think she needs braces. Her teeth make up who she is. Very cute.
Very
I agree. And we say braces jokingly, but she's
with love.
Yeah, because she has a lot of personality.
Mm.
I worry a little bit about Morgan because of the chewing, because we used to have it when I was growing up. We used to have a German Shepherd. Shepherds like to haul around rocks, a lot of them. And I don't know why this is, but they like them. And this dog would haul around rocks. And so her canines were all flat. So her bite marks looked like paper punches because she just had these flattened teeth from hauling around rocks all the time. And our Morgan, she likes hauling around rocks. So I'm a little concerned.
Alright. You can't really see the whites of her eyes in this photo.
No, it's very...
But I want the glassiness.
Yeah.
So... because her eye is turned... I'm going to leave some white right there. It's the white of the eyes and the pupils. If you ever look at a painting or a photo, and it seems that the eyes are following you as you move around, that is because the whites of the eyes are always continuously seen, which gives that illusion. So I do want some white in her eyes.
Yeah.
Layla is very much a watcher.
You know, I think that's something that is like a... You'll hear people say that, like, if it's a painting or it's a piece of art that's masterfully done, the eyes will seem to follow you. But the truth of the matter is, if you paint a subject, dog, cat, person, and you have them looking straight ahead in the painting. As you move around the painting, your perspective changes, and and the eyes will seem to follow you. So it's not some sort of master technique. If you just paint centered eyes, then it's going to seem to follow you. But you know what? That's not something I would tell your friends and relatives. If they want to say that your work is masterfully done because the eyes follow you, just
Would it be?
play along and say, yes, interesting. Well, I am a master artist, so.
All right. So that is really how simple the eyes can be. I'm gonna switch the other side, and we will discuss the wrinkles around her face because that is, to me, a part of it. He gets very expressive with her wrinkles.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Layla. He's like, you're talking about me. As long as you're being nice, I'll just listen.
They haven't been in the studio in 2 weeks, though.
3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Well, yeah, because I've been working.
Painting and stuff.
All right. So now we're doing the other eye. We can see a little bit more eye shine. We can also see how the eye is dark around it. So I've bumped down to 2.5. I'm not outlining anything because outlines pull away from realism. So we are not doing outlines. This is a shadow right here. And I really need to kind of turn the board so I can pull better.
Spence says, you may have answered this question before, but he's wondering why you always start with the eyes.
Because with the eyes, they're the most prominent part of the piece, especially with any kind of portrait, whether human or animal. It's the most prominent part of the piece, and if I screw up the eyes, I don't have a whole lot to... I'll sand the wood if I have to. I've been lucky thus far, knock on wood. But if I really screwed it up, I haven't done a whole lot of burning. It's the bases of the piece. A lot of times it has the darkest area, depending again on what the subject is. So I can just quickly sand, lay everything down, and start over. I haven't gone halfway through the burning, screw up an eye that because of how I did it, I can't really fix. And this just gives me room.
And
gives me room.
I'm just going to reiterate on that and say that for me, I do the same thing because the eyes are an anchor point. And like Valarie said, if there's something wrong, if you get the eyes right, that's like a good portion of your battle right there because you can work your other proportions around the eyes. But if you get them wrong, people are going to notice, and it's super hard to fix if you're way into the work. So if you use those as a anchor point or point for landmarks for working on the rest of your piece, it's a great place to start. They're also usually a darker value.
Yeah, that they tend to be like the darkest of the whole piece.
Yeah.
Because of the pupil.
Yeah. So, and if you're working from dark to light in value wise, then that's also a natural place to start. So, yeah, if you get the eyes right, that's like most of your battle. Because people recognize other people, they look them in the eyes mostly. So you can be off on a little bit here and there. If you get the eyes wrong, man,
it's gonna stand out.
There's no coming back from that. You gotta fix it. So no faking it, I should say. You have to fix it. It has to be pretty much exact.
So I'm going lightly first. This is where her pupil is, but based on the reference photo, it's hard to see. Again, this is where I used a different photo for her. For the eyes, just so I could get the details right. That wasn't very nice.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So she has a little highlight underneath where her eyeliner is.
You see that?
So I need to make sure I keep that. I'm using the edge of the tip to cut into her underneath. And then she has
What tip are you using right now?
the 18 extra small Optima.
And what temperature are you burning on?
2.5.
Okay.
And you can see how much dark I got just from using the edge of the tip. I didn't have to bump up my heat. Okay. So this is part of the pupil. I'm not going full dark yet. Again, I use a different reference so that I can make the pattern. But I'm using this reference to get the lighting right. That might be confusing, so if you're new to burning, maybe that wouldn't necessarily be the easiest thing for you. Because I have been burning for a long time. Long time. I feel comfortable doing it. And she's got her mask under her eyes. Darken this up.
Yeah, I think any creature that you do, if you get the eyes right, and then you get the nose and the mouth right, I think if you can get those things situated correctly,
Sorry about that.
then that is most of the battle right there. Because the rest of it is just, connecting all those landmarks together, and then having the landmarks be accurate really helps you position all those supporting details.
Alright, so I need to cut that around and then decide where.
Wanda wants to know what kind of wood you're using.
This one is Baltic birch. I haven't burned on birch in a long time. I have it linked down in the description if anybody's interested.
And this is for the pet portrait competition, right?
Yeah, this is a specific cut just for the competition.
Yeah. Wanda says the eyes are the window to the soul.
Yep.
That is true.
So now I can do some erasing.
Huh.
I left a little bit underneath, just like I did over there.
Roxy left.
Well, now that they're not being made to be, or not even made to be in here, but. Alright, we're going to bump up the heat. Again, this eye is closer, so her head's slightly turned. So the eye furthest from the camera is going to be smaller. And along with people, nobody living with eyes, none of them are exactly the same.
No.
There will always be a slight difference. One might be a little smaller or bigger or different shapes slightly. And that's why people always are talking about taking photos from their best side, is because one side might be a little different so it doesn't pick up on the camera right. So this eye is smaller. Her nose is turned slightly this way like in your reference. So this eye is smaller. So I've bumped up to a little past 3. And we're going to start darkening pupil.
An interesting fact is that most people are not symmetrical. But
Well, I guess you can pay for it. No judgment.
no.
No judgment, but I guess you could pay for it.
Yeah. And there's some studies that say that the more symmetrical someone is, the more attractive that people might consider them to be. But what's interesting to me is that if you take, let's say, your favorite celebrity, somebody that you just enjoy as an actor or an actress or somebody, and you were to do a portrait of them, you would probably find that they are not completely symmetrical. And if you did a portrait and you put you did one half of that person and then you mirrored that other half, you would find that in many cases that if you made one side exactly symmetrical with the other, that you might find that they look altogether different.
Yep.
And that's something that we as humans, we assume that we have it's called bilateral symmetry, but we're not that exact. Most of us do have one side or the other that is a little bit off. Sometimes an eye might be a little bit lower or higher, or whatever, but people are generally not perfectly symmetrical. So if you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, oh man, my eyes aren't symmetrical, or this ear is different than the other ear, guess what?
You're normal.
You're just you're human, and that's normal, just like Val said.
Yeah. Trying to make sure I've got the eye shine in the same place, because eye shines will fall in the same place. Slightly different if it's just, it'll be different if it's the light from a flash, but if you've just got normal eye shine, they will be closer in area and size. So now we can darken this. Check over here, because this eye, like I said, is smaller and a little squinty. But what we do see is actually more dark in this one. So we're going to make that slightly bigger.
That's another thing too.
What's that?
As we get older, through the abuse and ravage of time, of our lives, different things that we're exposed to, the elements, hard weather, injuries, we get less symmetrical over time as well, and we develop new features. So you're going to find that, of course, your wrinkles aren't completely symmetrical, and I think that in some ways, you'll hear some people say that they really enjoy doing portraits of older people because their faces are so interesting.
I've said that.
But there's another facet to that, and that is that when you're doing a young face, you don't have as much reference, and so actually it can be pretty challenging to do someone who has smooth features, because and who is very symmetrical. Again, nobody's perfect, but very symmetrical, because it forces you to be more accurate. But I think that when you're doing a portrait of somebody who has more features and who's weathered, it actually becomes easier, and it allows your mental processes, it allows you to relax a little bit, because you've got so much more to work with. So it takes the stress away from that perfection, because you know that you're not dealing with perfection anyway. So it actually becomes more enjoyable and easier to do, because it's just more landmarks to deal with and less pressure. But we're all perfect in our own way. So I don't want to say that if we become older, we're less perfect. I think that as we become older, it would be more accurate to say that you become more unique and distinct. And but if you haven't done a portrait of somebody who is older and has some serious wrinkles, there's plenty of stock photos and of people like that. Try it out. You might enjoy it.
All right. So now we're going to start putting in the mask around her eyes. I'm going to go ahead and bump down to like 2 3/4 just for now. And we are going to get a drink because I'm thirsty.
I can't wait till we come back into where you're bringing the hot cocoa
Oh, I know.
into the studio.
See, my birthday a few weeks ago was specifically themed for my 5.10 birthday.
Yes.
It was Harry Potter themed. More so Ravenclaw themed.
Well, yes.
Because I'm House Ravenclaw. Let's see here. So all this around her mask is darker. Bump down to 2.5. Now it is fur, but we don't see the fur itself, the details. It's just darker fur, but I'm going to go ahead and use the tip, tapping in the direction of the fur. And actually, because of what I'm doing, I'm going to go ahead and bump back up to a little over 3 because I'm moving quicker. A little bit of the edge, following the direction of her face.
Cynthia Burley is here.
Hey,
Says,
Cynthia.
Good afternoon.
Let's see here. We got this curve here.
Good afternoon to you. It's not quite afternoon for us, but it is very close.
We have a bit of dark here that I'm trying to follow. Underneath this wrinkle here. Hush.
No. What are you growling at?
Shh.
Okay, we hear it. Duly noted.
Thank you.
It's been annotated in the log.
You did your job.
Go back to sleep.
Alright. So this fur is coming out. And it's also darker. So I need to follow.
Good girl.
Thank you. This is kind of where her eye, like if you think of a person's eyelid, the fold. And I'm tilting the tip just a bit so that I'm also getting the edge, which makes it a thicker stroke.
Mm.
And luckily for these darks, I could just make the mark without worrying about the fur. Because you really can't see it. But I can always tap in texture later. Let's go in this direction. There we go. We come up, there's another dark right here. I'll move away. Now this is her where her creases. I do try to move the wood around. Sorry, my brain is just like, and dump, and dump. I do try to move the wood around so that the back end of my tip is over the area I'm burning. That way, I don't have an oops later.
So when you're working on a piece like this that you're kind of like, it's small enough to maneuver with your other hand, it's almost like you're working with both hands together because
Yes.
you're positioning the wood with your left hand and you're burning with your right. So they're working together, which is interesting to me.
And then trying to talk at the same time.
Well, that's
why my brain kind of don't.
I know what you're going through. That's why I'm trying to provide some commentary to
I appreciate that.
give you some mental space.
Let's pull this down. See, this is much darker. These are all darks, but I'm going to go flat and just kind of blend it. I can always up the heat. This is actually the darker area. Just using the tip.
Cynthia says, so glad to see you work again.
Well, thank you.
Well, it has been a rough month or two in between Valerie's renovations. And then just some days that's just us not feeling well. So
We're finally getting rain.
yeah, finally getting rain, that helps. But every time the weather changes, you know, sometimes it can throw us in.
How dare a puppy yell?
Sometimes it can actually, you know, have physical effects on the both of us, because we both, Valarie and I, have extensive damage. When I was younger, I think most people in the chat can probably sympathize with this.
And I've bumped up to 4. Well, he relegates us of dinosaur times.
Thank you. There were dinosaurs. I love you too. Whatever.
Whatever.
Anyway, I would hear, you know, old people talking about that, oh, the weather's going to change. I could feel it in my bones. And I was like, you're right. That's ridiculous. But I tell you what, when the weather changes now, sometimes it hurts.
You can feel it in your bones.
Sometimes you feel it in your bones, and then sometimes it stops you. You know, sometimes it's like, oh man, I gotta go lay down because I could feel it in my bones.
I guess those elders at that time were not making it up now.
No, I guess not. You know, so you know, we both have arthritis, and you know, when the weather changes, especially if it's a severe change, oh man, I can feel it. So I think that's why a lot of people move to warmer climates, you know, because cold weather does have.
I do better
an
with
effect.
cold weather. Alrighty.
You and I both do, you know. So
There we go. So now we got a little bit of a dark right here. And again, you guys are looking at the proper reference photo. I'm having to use my phone because I messed up. And I'm at 4, so it's going to be much hotter. That also means I can get those darks darker. Alright, so for where we're at, I do need to actually bump down. Because it's a little too hot, so I'll bump back down to 4. This has definitely become my favorite pen.
which one is it again?
It's the extra small. Alright, so I'm going to be flat. I'm going to drag in the direction of her fur, which for this eye is down in the center. But it curves from here. And because I'm flat, it's going to be wider strokes. And I'm going over it and over it to get the texture. Now this hair on the edge of her muzzle stands up, so it's in the right direction, but I need to... You see, I see some lines there, so I'm going to come back
Mom's making a portrait
with the edge of my pen and kind of mix it up a bit so it's not so uniform. Layla.
Wanda says that she was wondering why you started with that one instead of the ballpoint for the eyes.
Yeah, because of how I did her eyes, the size, I've got more than enough room to use a bigger pen. This goes flat, straight down. Think Alice Cooper. in his makeup. I will cross over a little bit.
You guys be nice. They've been grumpy with each other lately.
Yeah, they have.
I don't know why. She does have Alice Cooper eyes.
Mm-hmm. If I want, I can go ahead and switch over to the 18 small. But I do have to up that temperature because it handles the heat the way we're used to handling the heat. It's the extra small that handles slightly different. There we go. Next week we will definitely do her nose and her mouth. And the crazy teeth. I'm moving over to this pen just because I can move quicker. Larger area. I can even just go flat.
What are you chewing on?
Without lifting.
What are you chewing on? What is that? Did you already eat it? What did you eat? Child.
What do you think I eat, Dad? Alright, this hair does go this way, so we'll quickly use the edge.
So Wanda, the thunderstorms, they bark at the thunderstorms, but they don't have issues with them. Now, we used to have Husky, and those thunderstorms were terrifying for her.
Well, Layla has a little problem just with loud noises in
yeah. So she would need to be right next to one of us if there was thunderstorms going on, because she would be really scared. These guys, when it thunderstorms, or even if the wind blows really hard,
they'll yell at the sky.
They bark, but it's not a fear. It's just a general barking. So Wanda says adorable teeth.
I think he does. He has very special teeth.
Yeah.
All right. So again, I'm turned, but not overly much. I'm just turned to make this a thicker stroke because this pen is thinner edgewise than the 18 extra small. Let's see here. Using the tip. Tip's always going to be dark. It's going to be hotter, so it burns darker. Let's see here. She's lighter right there. Then we go up to a squiggly line. That's darker. And then I can go flat just to fill it in, and then I'll go back with the edge. See, this burns lighter. And we can quickly erase just so I can get rid of these lines. And go back to filling it in.
Wanda says her Havanese has severe storm anxiety.
Oh.
So I don't sleep during the storms. She trembles pants and tries climbing to the highest area.
Which
is usually her head.
Yeah, that's what the Husky used to do. Had to sit in the closet with her. That way it was all enclosed and dark and...
Yeah, if I was in the living room, I'd be sitting on the couch and she would, like...
Under the feet.
Under my feet. Like, okay, my legs are on her, so... But she still wasn't okay. She still was, like, panting.
Her fear of thunderstorms were so bad that it actually ended up at the age of 12 of her having to cross the Rainbow Bridge. Jason had left to go to school, and she freaked out because the thunder started. She went under a metal gate and basically ruptured her back. So it was from a storm that she just...
I forgot about that. Yeah, she messed up her back. Because we have we have a baby. It's basically a baby gate, so that when our front door opens, the dogs just don't go running out. Um, it's just a little safety check, just in case they get excited or something, so that they're not just running outside. And yeah, she went, so that's braced up against the wall, both walls there in the hallway, and she pushed her way under it and forced her way through, and it messed up her spine, and she couldn't walk right after that. She would have really, really bad problems. She was getting older, but
She was 12.
it was really, really sad because she had real difficulties walking, and it affected her in other ways neurologically. So
Yeah. Had to use a towel to pick up her back end to walk her.
yeah. So,
Alrighty. Let's get off the sad stuff.
Wanda says, I've not tried to sit in the closet. One thing that she used to like, I don't know if this would work with your Havanese, is
T-shirt.
a t-shirt. Wearing a t-shirt. So we just regular people shirt, put it on her, and then we'd like tie up the tail end of it because it was long, so it wouldn't drape over her back end. But use like a twist, not a twist tie, but like a hair tie or something to gather it up so that it wasn't in the way for her, and that seemed to help. And then blankets. So if she's wrapped up in a blanket, then that wasn't so bad. But so maybe, I don't know how big a Havanese is, but like a nice soft towel or something, and like wrap them up in it and see how they do. And then I don't know, again, if you got a t-shirt of an appropriate size,
and sing to her.
that
Brian
might,
used to sing to her in the closet.
yeah. But
they do have what's called thunder shirts.
yeah, which is basically it's
Same thing.
it's like a compression vest.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them feel more secure. T-shirts are cheaper, but I don't know. I never got a thunder shirt for Sasha, so I don't know how much that would have helped. But
let's see, this line goes a little thicker.
Wanda tried the thunder shirt, didn't do anything for him.
Oh.
They've had it on Trazodone. It's calming him, holding on with loud noise. So far, not much. Music helps too, like if it's calm music, so that can help as well, depending on the dog. We used to have when I was growing up, we used to have a husky, and she was kind of hyperactive, and we used to play like new age music, and she would like slow down and pass out. So she couldn't fight it.
You mean he was people?
She was people.
He was people.
Yeah. So there's that.
Well, if I remember, Wanda's down in Mesa, so they've been getting hit. They've actually had a better monsoon down in the Phoenix area than we have. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
They had a haboo come through.
Spence uses hemp oil on tests.
Hmm? All right. No, I've heard the hemp oil also can help. All right. So to me, there's areas that this still needs to go darker. Her mask is... She's not in here.
Mm.
Her mask is black, and then her face is a lighter tan.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to have to, excuse me, go darker. I'm actually going to bump up to 5.5. I've already burned this area. This is birch. Birch, once burned on, needs a lot more heat to darken it up. So I'm going to use the edge. Following the direction of the fur. And see, this just happens to be the way the grain is also going. So I kind of need to do more of a C stroke so that I don't get embedded down in the grain. This came sanded at 180, but I still did 220, 320, and 400. I do plan on adding color to this one. If you're not a member, we played with pan pastels for the horsewood burning. And I decided that I wanted to use pastels just on a halo behind her. What I haven't decided is the color. Her collar is red, but I think I'm leaning more towards purple because of her fur color. I'm just using the edge. I'm not picking up. I'm just going across the grain with the edge to give that texture a little bit better.
So, in regards to the food there, Spence, I don't know, one thing that helps, because sometimes our dogs, like our, what is she? She's like a miniature shepherd, but whatever Morgan is.
Well, he's technically, I love you, Morgan, a mutt.
Oh.
But so is Roxy.
I know. But, so Roxy always eats, but, because she eats anything. But Morgan...
She's a food hound.
...is a little pickier, and I know that she gets very excited when I add things to her, because, you know, most of the time we have healthy dog food, but if I feed her, you know, wet, or if I add something healthy for them, like rice, to their food, then she gets excited and she's more likely to eat. I think that, because you generally don't want to feed them people food, but I think that if their perception is that they're getting people food, they, you know, perceive it as a treat and get excited about it more. So I don't know. I feel like you probably already tried almost everything though, Spence. So, but rice is a good neutral food. Oatmeal is too.
Eggs
are good. So anything that your dog gets excited about eating, you know, and
be careful with peanut butter.
Yeah. You know, first off, make sure that it's healthy for them. But you know, but if something that they get excited about eating, then you can kind of like infiltrate that into their food and let them see you doing it, so that they think that they're getting something special, and then that they are actually getting something special.
So this is a wrinkle. It's right above her snout, and it's between the wrinkle of her eye and of her nose. I see I didn't overly lay it out in my pattern. So I've got my pattern attached to my board so I can glance up, especially since I pulled the wrong reference. This way I know where stuff is.
Now, if you've never put a t-shirt on your dog, it might be entertaining. It helps if it is not specifically a dog t-shirt. I think that's just my opinion. Because if
it smells like you.
If it smells like you, even if it's been through the laundry, it's with your stuff. There seems to be, at least with some dogs hate it. Some dogs are like, get this off of me. You know, they'll lay down and they'll pout. But some dogs get super excited because it's like, kind of like Harry Potter, Dobby. You're gifting them with clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a German Shepherd, and every time I put his t-shirt on him, he would get super happy and run around the house. Because as far as he was concerned, he had made the transition to full person at that point. So
Layla loves it.
Yeah.
He hasn't had one on in a while, but in the wintertime, because Bull Mastiffs do have a longer hair, but he's velvet dog. We call her velvet dog because that's the type of fur he has.
She's very
especially her ears. Her ears feel just like velvet. but so it's longer strands of hair, but it's really flat.
It's very soft.
And very soft. But in the wintertime, because of that, he gets really cold. So he gets super happy when Hubcap puts on gives her one of his shirts.
Yeah. You just have to make sure, like, especially if it's a dog like her, make sure that the neck hole is big enough. So, like, if you have an old, worn-out shirt, that's like perfect for a dog, because they'll, it'll kind of, their physiology is different. So, as long as you can gather up the bottom of the shirt and kind of tie it up on their back so that it's not in their way. You got a dog that likes clothes, and it'd be awesome.
All right, so we got the eyebrow wrinkle. So I'm going to darken this shadow right here. Ugh, my eyes keep bouncing. It is a little harder because I'm going against the grain versus if it was this way. It just feels different when it's burned. It's not you. It does feel different.
Mm-hmm.
If the burning is slightly feeling off, it's because of how the grain is going.
And Wanda says, okay, I got to get that pin.
What, the extra small or the small?
I'm assuming the one you're using.
This is the one I use the most for hair.
Yeah.
Because it is so thin.
She says she's loving the way it's working.
Yeah, it makes it's the thinnest of all the 18s.
Alright, now I'm not rushing you, but we're coming up to the hour. I'm not.
You're rushing me. Don't rush me.
We started 56 minutes ago, so
okay.
I'm just letting you know.
I know lunchtime. Yeah, let's back it off and see how we're looking. Are we looking like Layla?
Mm-hmm.
Back it up.
I think so.
Yes, I'm backing it up a little bit more so you get. Granted, this is my reference photo. I printed the wrong one out. I will fix that.
Wanda says, is that one's tip small or extra small?
This one is the small. Okay. You'll be able to see the difference. This is the extra small. So you can see the difference in size.
Yeah, because she says hers is thicker.
Okay, that's the extra small. Because this one is really, really thin. You can see. This is the pin I do all of my hair. And 3/4 of the fur. If there's darker fur, I tend to use the extra small. Just because I can run it at a lower heat and get a darker burn. But in general, this extra small, or this small, is the one I use for all of my hair. I don't, and this is a personal preference, it's nothing against any of the tips. If you like something different, by all means use it. But this is the 12S. And this is almost as thin as this is. But I don't particularly care for skews overall. I will use them sometimes depending on what it is, but in general I don't like skews. I like my spear shaders. The spear shaders, I do like the ball tips and the spoon shaders. Those are the main ones.
Suspense is a project that he's planning. He's wanting to burn on his walking stick he's making.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully with dragons on it. That'd be really cool.
That'll be really cool. And this pin right here, see, I tested this pin and the extra small. I think I've been using this for 3 or 4 years, and you can see it still looks so good.
Well, that's because you burn at lower heats and you take care of your pins.
Yep. Yeah, I haven't had to buy a new tip at all for Optima.
Yeah.
There. Hopefully this I'm doing the beauty guru stuff and it ain't working. But this is really, really thin compared to, these are all off.
Oh, so they're not live pins.
No, they're not.
Okay.
They're plugged in, but it's off.
Okay.
I'm trying to show, there we go. You can tell the one on the left, the 18 small, is thinner than this one. But a bigger tip.
Oh, okay. So
let me do that. That'll be, and it looks like it has a slightly less bend. Let's see here.
Spence says, regards to the walking stick, it will be a miracle because I've been away from burning forever.
Oh, you'll be good.
You know,
I have zero doubt.
that happens to us all, Spence. Is that sometimes you end up not doing art for a while. It's happened to me lately, and I have just recently, in the last month, gotten back to it.
Yep. So. Alright. I won't be able to work on this because I've got to pull all my stuff off this wall and move all this counter stuff because we got to recut a new counter.
Are we going to be able to broadcast next week?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna work on this wall first.
Okay.
And then as soon as next week live's done, or I may actually just wait till September to do this wall. I don't know. Haven't decided.
Wanda says the one on the right was extra small.
Yep, this is the extra small. You can tell I use this one more because it has a double. I pulled this off another pen. So the extra small is 1. This small is 2. So let's see if I can do better with the focusing. We will zoom in. Get the focus on. All right. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, maybe I should do this. Can you hold that? It's gonna pull the camera.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. The one on the left, this one, is the small. And you can see, I'm trying to get it, how it's thinner. It's like almost half the size of the extra small on the edge right here on the side. We're talking these edges. Come back to me. Hand. Give me. All right, let me turn the focus back off. Zoom back out because I lost my focus. There we go. All right, I can have that back, please. Thank you. All right, there we go. I probably should post some photos. Probably make it easier, but hopefully you can see. This one's smaller in size, but thicker. The 18 small is larger in size tip, total size, but thinner on its edge, which makes it easy. They're both easy to do hair, but this gets a good curve. You can see how, granted it's not on wood, but I got a good curve with this one just by rolling my fingers like that.
Wanda says, okay, I'll get both.
You will feel the difference.
Who's the bad influence? Valarie.
I wasn't trying to influence.
Valarie's
I don't get
influence.
nothing. I don't get paid for Optima at all. Actually, I don't get paid other than by the members and if you watch the videos. Alright. Pop this up out of my face. So next week we will work on the nose and the mouth specifically. Those two. And we'll connect with the muzzle here. Hopefully that looks like Layla's eyes.
It does to me.
There we go. Alrighty. You know what to say. Say it with me. You're awesome. You can do this. Why? Because you're a pyro artist. Happy burning, guys. See you next week. Bye. You ready for food?
I am. What you want?